David was taken aback by the arrival of the police at his home. The question remains as to how his dog knew what was happening until now. In what way could the child's father not have recognized that person? What was happening inside David's home for so long? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, where I am up again with another mind-boggling story that will shock you. When Jesse and David decided to start a family, they did so after having a long and happy relationship. Benji, the family dog, became a devoted babysitter after the birth of the couple's daughter. Even after they took the dog away from the baby, she continued to bark. David was shocked to learn the truth after investigating the situation. This is not it. A whole story is behind the scene, and I am eager to share. But first, I would like you to subscribe to my channel and like the video. The entire situation started when Jesse and David discovered that she was pregnant. It was wonderful news because they had been trying to start a family for quite some time. Benji, their dog, was the one thing that was bothering them. She was expected to react positively to the new baby when she arrived. Jesse hoped against hope that Benji wouldn't be the kind of dog who refused to accept their new baby because otherwise they'd have to make the painful decision to give her up for adoption. One day Jesse was not feeling so well. She called her doctor to get advice. The doctor told Jesse to come in right away after she called. She called her reliable and trustworthy friend Anne, who offered to take her to the hospital. Right away, Anne came and whisked her away to the emergency room. When they got there, the front desk worker told her to go ahead and come in. The doctor first performed an ultrasound and other tests to ensure that the pregnancy was developing normally. Although the baby and all tests returned normal, Jesse still had many questions. When Anne arrived, Jesse cried uncontrollably because she didn't want to choose between her baby and Benji. Anne started reassuring her immediately, telling her she would be there whenever she needed help with the baby and that she had no problem taking care of infants. Knowing Jesse had a trustworthy friend who could also keep an eye on Benji brought her much-needed peace of mind. Jesse gave birth to a healthy girl whom she and David named Lily a few weeks later. Benji's odd behavior remained, and it was about to become much more extreme. In Lily's first weeks, Jesse and David could remain home to tend to her needs. In time, Benji appeared to settle down. After a while though, Mom and Dad had to return to the office. Anne called them with some disturbing news when they returned to work. Anne informed them that Benji was being a jerk and wouldn't let Lily sleep alone while she was watching. Jesse was perplexed and shocked, but when she told David about it, he didn't give it much thought. He thought it was adorable that Benji was keeping an eye on Lily. Anne called them one day in utter desperation. She claims she could get Lily and Benji apart, but that Benji attacked her when she returned to her room. David knew that they had to discipline Benji to prevent a repetition of her unacceptable behavior. David took her to the vet again, giving him disappointing findings. He insisted that they immediately find out what upset Benji or take her to a shelter. The timing was essential, he said, because he sensed something was wrong. The veterinarian also made an insinuation that greatly bothered David. He suggested they might be the issue. Why would Benji worry about Lily sleeping alone if that weren't the case? No matter if David put Lily to bed or she dozed off on her own, Benji was always there to greet her. David wasn't convinced it was completely insane, but he didn't understand it either. But then Annie called, and that was the turning point. While telling David about how Benji bit her, she revealed some information he had previously been unaware of. As if by magic, David realized what was missing. Anne's presence always triggered Benji's odd behavior. When Anne wasn't around, Benji was his usual peaceful self. Clearly, the troublemaker was Anne. Upon hearing David's worries, Jesse told him to take it easy and stop being so dramatic. She explained that Anne couldn't be the issue because Benji never left Lily alone at night. Jesse decided it would be a good idea to put cameras in strategic locations around the house so she could monitor the goings-on. It was clear to them what Lily, Benji, and Anne were up to. Anne's evident nervousness after being informed of the cameras prompted David to suspect something was wrong. He had no trust in her. David watched the first few days of footage and didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Benji's guardian instincts hadn't faded, and he was still watching for the kid's safety. Benji didn't trust Anne, which fueled David's desire to confront her. His patience finally wore thin, and he exploded at Anne, demanding, "What are you doing to my daughter?" There was no way she could have anticipated this, but she wasn't going to take this lying down. She snapped back angrily that Jesse's pregnancy had caused the dog's bad behavior. Jesse was angry with David because he had confronted Anne, her best friend, about harming Lily. Jesse told him he had to figure out what was happening or abandon Benji at a shelter. All of a sudden, David understood that Anne had provided him with everything he needed to know. He recalled Benji's erratic behavior at night and realized he had never watched the footage. The next step was obvious to him. After checking, he discovered that the footage shot at night had been completely removed. He settled on the idea of daily encrypting backups of the nightly recordings. He had faith that this would bring him to the solutions he sought. When he checked the footage the following day, he saw something terrifying move up through the baby's open window. David was so shocked that he couldn't even take a deep breath. His disbelief at what he was seeing only grew as he kept watching. Before things got even worse, he knew he had to call the police. David contacted Jessie via phone and asked her to return home immediately. Outside, he could hear the first police sirens. When Jessie got home, she wanted to know what was happening immediately. She got down on her knees when David showed her the footage. The cops were concerned about Anne and her whereabouts. They had to interrogate her in person. They provided the police with her number, but she has yet to respond to their calls. When did she leave, and where did she go? Jessie shared all of her insights with them. Meanwhile, Benji was inside Lily's room when the police arrived. She scampered over to the wall and began barking at it instantly. She appeared to be telling them that there was something behind that wall. They smashed their way through the wall with a sledgehammer. Since the situation was so dire, they broke the wall without informing Jessie or David first. They discovered a secret storage space there. Please explain. They quickly got to work emptying the secret compartment, where they discovered a safe. Locating a safe cracker was essential. Some other officers were checking Anne Anderson's record at the same time. Their discovery shocked everyone in the room. In reality, Anne did not exist. The woman Jessie had come to know as a friend turned out to be a liar and a private spy. Jessie cried uncontrollably after learning that her best friend of 10 years was a fraudster. All the while, Benji was yelling at the safe, and they managed to track down a safe cracker. Also, she was still glued to Lily's side. It came as a complete shock to everyone when the safe was opened and the contents revealed. They discovered cash, jewelry, important papers, and passports within the safe. Jessie said, "Oh my God," as one of the police officers flipped through a passport. Yes, that's Anne. She let out a shriek. Anne's true identity as an international spy wanted for espionage in 17 countries was finally revealed. Jessie couldn't believe what she was hearing. Jessie and David met her because David was the director of a national security company and had access to the national security grid. All thanks to Benji, who sensed things right and helped them to save their daughter. So that's it. I hope you liked the story and how the dog saved the life of a little angel. Let's wrap up the video, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. See you in the next video.